Today we're going to finish it up because we got through the first proof yesterday and then we didn't get through the second part. So, how many of you tried the homework last night?
I didn't.
Okay.
It was sketchy.
Yeah, it's not due till Monday because I'll finish the rest of it today,
Okay.
and then you can turn it in Monday. Monday we'll review everything for your test on Tuesday on this section. It's the last section in the test. Right? So Tuesday will be a test. I know we try not to do that on Tuesday, but it just sort of worked out.
All these videos are online too.
I watched them, and there's somebody talking the whole time in the background.
Yeah,
This
probably
is class.
Sal.
I know, it was so much fun. I want to be louder now.
All right. So today I want to do this proof here. And it's for a line perpendicular to a plane and a perpendicular.
Are we not going to go over homework?
It's not due till Monday, so we'll go over it on Monday because we only did the first half yesterday. Okay. I should just assign half. Okay.
Is it recording?
It is.
La
All right. So write this down. This top one, a line and a plane are perpendicular. While you're writing that, I'll turn to the page.
We write a line from the perpendicular technology.
The red. What's in the red? You want to write down what's in the red there, guys. Okay. So a line and a plane are perpendicular if and only if they intersect, and the line is perpendicular to all lines in the plane that pass through the point of intersection. All right. So you can see my nice little drawing up there. And so that line comes from above and goes, you know, all the way down there through the plane so that it's perpendicular. So it's like just like, here's my perpendicular plane, is my worksheets here, right? And so my line comes on there and forms a 90-degree angle with every other line that's on that plane, right? That's what the picture's showing. All right. Now, notice that once you have that line, and we're given that this line PO is perpendicular to plane X. Okay? And we're also given that through that line, we draw a couple triangles, okay? And when we draw those triangles, AO is congruent to BO, right? And they want me to prove that line segment PA is congruent to line segment PB. It's on the board. When it's chapter 4, yeah. Section 3.
In the Mr. Sager Bible, we're in verse 4, chapter 3.
Yeah.
Did you just hand out something?
I did. That's what we're going to go over today after I do this proof. We're gonna, All right. So, this is the problem with drawing this because I'm going to go back and forth, right? Okay. So,
You could less magnify it.
yeah, I could do a lot of things. Statements. And we've got some reasons. Jordan, what's my first statement going to be?
PO is perpendicular to plane X.
That's very good, Jordan.
And
PO is perpendicular to plane X.
and that's given.
It is given, yes.
He's like laughing.
Very good. All right.
Sorry.
Now, after the first step, they tend to get a little harder. Okay.
Could you scroll up a bit?
I could scroll up a bit.
Snake 49.
Like that? Or do you might scroll down a bit?
Right there.
Is that what you meant?
That's,
Like
so,
that?
Yeah, there.
All right. I'll end up having to scroll again because I don't think I can write this small.
You're not even going to get a third of that.
All right. So if we know that that plane and that line are perpendicular, well, what does that tell us?
That AO is congruent to B. Did we do our get next given or no?
No.
Okay, cool.
What does this give and tell us, guys, from what we were copying up in your notes up there? The definition of a what we just copied there, definition of perpendicular.
Are we just writing this on a piece of paper?
If you want for your notes, that would probably be helpful. Definition of perpendicular to a plane. What did that definition up there tell you? So what can you say? What statement? What statement can you say?
Is 4-3?
We're not doing the worksheets, guys. I just made this up on the board here. This isn't from the worksheet. We're doing the worksheet after this. Okay, I just passed out at the beginning. So,
Definition of perpendicular.
so what up here? So if we know PO is perpendicular to that plane, what does that tell us? Look at the red.
Does it create 90 degrees?
I'll write that down.
It says it's perpendicular to all lines in the plane that pass through the point of intersection.
Yeah, it creates 90-degree angle.
Okay, what's the point of intersection?
Oh.
O is the point of intersection. And so all the lines in that plane that cross through O are perpendicular to PO. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is that? What two lines are perpendicular there?
A and B.
And X.
Well, there is no line A and B. Well, you got to use two letters to name a line.
PO.
What's that?
PA.
PO and what?
And
PO is perpendicular to what?
A O.
Both seconds.
OA, right?
OA, I mean OA, yeah. And OB, right? Also,
Well,
PO to OB.
it's perpendicular to OB. Does everybody see that?
Oh, wait, okay. That makes
PO would be perpendicular to OA and OB, right? Because AO and BO are both in the plane of X. And they both cross through the intersection of where the line PO intersects the plane. So does that make sense that these are perpendicular
Wait. So,
to PO? If PO is a perpendicular to this plane, in other words, it comes right down through. Here's your plane. Here's your line. That means all the lines in here are also going to be perpendicular to this. Okay? All right. That's wonderful. And what do we know about perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines aren't congruent
They
necessarily.
have 90-degree angle.
the,
They form 90-degree angles. So what can I say, Molly?
So, the measure of angle.
POA
POA.
is a 90-degree angle, and then POB.
Well.
Is it, wait,
The measure of POA is.
POE?
the, you
POE?
know,
That's
Uh,
supposed to be POE.
equals. I guess.
Did I say POA? I'm sorry. Yeah,
you
POA.
know, the Kung Fu Panda.
The measure of angle POA equals what?
90 degrees.
90.
It also would agree equal POB as well, because that's equals 90-degree angle. You could substitute it in.
So then view substitution property?
For these?
Property, sorry.
Yeah, because you can substitute
No,
that in.
no, you're going a step ahead of me. But what's the reason for this? How do we know that these two angles equal 90 degrees?
Because of the definition of perpendicular planes, right?
No.
Definition of
Lines.
lines, perpendicular lines. I
Right.
couldn't read what's the last letter? PO,
B, over here?
Definition
What
of
about it?
perpendicular lines.
POA, is that above it? That's 90, right?
Yeah, these are both 90.
Yeah, I was
It's
asking.
definition of perpendicular lines, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody following?
Yeah.
Everyone's following along, okay? At some point, I'm going to have to scroll up a little, guys, because I won't be able to write. Okay? What does that tell me?
Measured angle POA equals measured POB.
Well, if the measures are equal, what does that tell you here? What can you say about these two angles, guys?
Aren't you ready to donate?
What? They're congruent, right? Angles that have the same measure are congruent, right?
So, okay.
Reflexive, or, no, never mind. Because I thought you wrote POA, POA. But you wrote POA.
Right. So what's the reason that those are congruent?
Cool.
Guys.
Definition of congruent.
Of congruent angles, right?
Aren't they also equal because of substitution? You could put that as a reason because you could substitute in measure of angle POB in for 90.
Well, we know the POA equals 90.
But so does
That
POP.
doesn't say.
But that doesn't mean that, okay, never mind.
But also measure of angle POA equals 90 as well. So that
Right, so you could say the measure of angle POA equals the measure of angle MAB. But that doesn't really help me. 'Cause I want to say that they're congruent. I don't want to say that their measures are equal.
Oh, you want to prove that they can do it.
Right, okay. And, okay. Now guys, keep this in the context of our triangles, right? So
Okay.
what are our triangles up here? What have we got so far? What have we shown?
PAO and PBO.
Let me get a different color here. What's that?
PAO and PBO.
PAO and
PBO.
PBO. No.
Wait, what?
POB.
POB, I
But,
thought.
okay.
Oh, so then be
So
POA.
it's-
PBO is over here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Those two are congruent.
So
yeah,
then
O is the midpoint of AOB.
Then
Yeah.
A.
So that means
hold on, you gotta go
that
slow.
means
What are you saying? What is the midpoint?
O is the midpoint of AOB.
No, O is just the word intersects. That's gonna go all the way down forever.
Well, if
That's not a
AO is
midpoint.
congruent to BO, that means O can be the midpoint.
That's not a line, that's not a straight line.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Oh,
is the bisector.
Biangle.
No, alright, slow. None of those.
Wait, why?
You
Wouldn't
can't
they
say
both
anything
start-
about that. There's no midpoints here because these aren't, a midpoint has to be on a line. There's no midpoints anywhere. Okay? But notice what you do have. What did we have up here? In our given.
AO is given to B is congruent to BO.
Alright, so now it's time for that, right? So we have, what were the letters?
AO is congruent to BO.
AO is congruent to BO. And that's given, right? Alright, so now look, what do I have now? What do I got up there? I've got
An angle.
an angle and a side.
So you need
So-
either.
So
Besides, you get an angle.
Well, I could, if I could prove that angle A is congruent to angle B, then I could have angle side angle, because I'd have two angles on a included side, but I don't know how I would prove that. But if I could also prove that that line segment is equal to itself, then I would have two sides and an included angle, which would be the SAS, right?
Easy.
Can I prove that PO is congruent to PO?
Yes,
Well, why can I do that?
because it's the same.
Well, that's not what we write.
No, you said PO is congruent to PO, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that the reflexive?
Reflexive.
We're like 90 proof.
What?
It's a
Thanks,
long
Mike.
proof.
It's not that bad. And then what can we say now?
that's because of
Triangle
the SAS postulate.
That's your
that
reason.
means that the third line is congruent.
Hang on. You're going
No.
you're going too far
P-
ahead. What all this tells me is what? What can I say for sure?
Angle PO.
No, nothing about an angle.
Triangle.
Triangles.
PAO is
Oh.
congruent
This
to
postulate
triangle.
says the two triangles are congruent if you have two sides and an included angle, right?
So SSS?
No, you have two sides and an angle. So anyway you write that, it's going to be SAS, right? All right. So through the SAS postulate, now be careful because we have to write our triangles correctly, right? And what triangles are congruent?
PAO is congruent to PBO.
PAO is congruent to what triangle?
PBO. Triangle PBO.
I gotta make sure the line up here.
Yeah,
PAO.
O is
I just
the
have to see the picture because PAO, PBO.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure we're all on the same. So now we got two congruent triangles. But that's not what I wanted to prove. I wasn't trying to prove those triangles are congruent. What am I trying to prove?
The line segment PA.
I wanna
is
prove
line
that-
segment PB.
This and this are congruent.
Well,
So how do I,
if they're congruent, then
They're-
wouldn't all the sides be the same?
yeah. What tells you that? What's the reason?
Definition of equal something.
No.
No.
Corresponding parts of congruent.
Because you have two triangles that are
Because
congruent, the
CPT
corresponding
is
parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So you could say, let's see, PA and PB. Are you talking to me or him?
He's like, I know what I'm doing, Mrs. Leviticus.
No, I wasn't sure if he was talking to me. Okay, so PA equals B because of what? CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
Wow.
It's a mouthful.
It's not that long of a proof, 8. I
No,
mean,
it's not really bad. I'm
eventually-
just saying.
Eventually you get up to ones that are 12 and 13, so that's not too bad.
Eventually.
As you add more and more of these postulates and corollaries and theorems and everything, you know, eventually by the time you get to the end of the book, you've got a lot in your arsenal.
I understand.
Really?
this,
I'd like
it's
to
just
fire
if
them
I
all
could do it
off.
like think of all of this.
It's not, guys, for most of you it won't come naturally. Some of your minds work and these will come naturally to you, but most people it doesn't. So what you have to really ask yourself is, well, what's the section we're in? So CPCTC, SAS, SSS, ASA, those kinds of things, that's where you're going for. So when you're doing these proofs, you look for sides that are congruent, angles, included sides, and it'll help you. And I think that most of them, like the ones we're going to do now with the sheets, we'll finish reviewing on these sheets. So if you want to pull it out, they give you a lot of these things, right? Let me